that's Bugs Bunny. That's Daffy Duck. Like they got all of the official voice actors for all of these characters as well. So it wasn't just, oh, look, there's Mickey Mouse and there's Bugs Bunny. It's like those are the characters and they're voiced by the guys who voice the characters. It gave it a sense of like, okay, that's definitely Bugs Bunny. That's definitely Mickey Mouse. That's totally Porky Pig at the end. And then you totally believe it's like, okay, Baby Herman, I guess he fits in there perfectly. And then you've got Roger Rabbit, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, Roger Rabbit. He's been a tune for years. Yeah, I've definitely watched loads of his cartoons growing up.
Yeah. And then just, yeah, the voices added so much to it. And I like the behind the scenes, just watching what Billy West doing a lot of the scenes and what D. Bradley Baker as Daffy Duck, Tasmanian Devil. Um, no, wait, no, I'm looking at, is that Space Jam?
D. Bradley Baker? Yeah, that must be
No,
Space Jam.
you know what's funny? I have a list here of I have a list here of Space Jam and Who Framed Roger Rabbit from the notes I did. And I was reading that. I was like, I didn't know Wayne Knight was a voice on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. No, but I'm sorry. Having like Lou Hirsch on there, having just like everybody you said, having him on there, just it's perfect.
They had the original voice of Betty Boop on there, doing Betty Boop, which is something very obscure. Like she was only a character for 5 years, but and then retired. But yeah, they got the voice actor in to do it.
I mean, this was the most expensive movie ever made at the time, which is nuts. I guess it got up to 70 million, and then I guess when that's inflated, it's 150 million, which Rambo 3 was the prior most expensive film. But you can easily see why this is the most expensive movie at the time because of just the length that you had to do it. I mean,
Well,
this is
just
like
pure
2 years.
man hours.
Yeah, exactly. So like even the production itself probably wasn't the most expensive. It was just a year of post production with hundreds of artists working around the clock. Just
And
money.
they had to, they had the his name escapes me, the animation director. He was there like live sketching whatever Zemeckis was telling him. Basically they were going through the edited footage, and Zemeckis is like, okay, what's happening now is he's got the rabbit and he's like stuffing him down his shirt and kind of in a toony way, and he's there like doing like almost like a court sketch of what kind of Zemeckis wants that he can then take to the animators and be like, okay, I think this is kind of what we're going for. And then they would go away for 12 weeks or 14 weeks, as Bob Zemeckis said, and then you might get to see something.
That's a lot of. They put like I know Spielberg was behind it. I know Frank Marshall was behind it, but Disney put a lot of faith in Zemeckis because they're not making money on this movie for 2.5 years. This is not a quick
But
turnaround.
if you
Well, I guess.
look at where Zemeckis was in his career at that point, like this isn't pre Back to the Future. This is post Back to the Future Zemeckis. Like he's absolutely killed it, and he's probably in pre-production for Back to the Futures 2 and 3, which I'd say the studios were fairly confident that, okay, these are going to be massive tentpoles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point.
So,
He had heat.
this
He
kind
had a
of
lot of
becomes,
heat.
a passion project where, he's proven track record of success, with Romancing the Stone, with Back to the Future, and now he's kind of making this movie with the backing of Spielberg, who, also was, on
Pretty big.
a hot streak at that point.
Yeah.
So it had a lot of weight behind it.
Yeah, and I guess Michael Eisner, he saw it through. He saw the vision, gave them as much money as they wanted. Oh gosh, oh, I
Yeah.
love it. Oh, that's so cool. Hey, so how about this? Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I kind of want to talk about our favorite moments from the movie and kind of dive into the plot a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And did you put some cream in your coffee, or you're gonna have to drink it black now? It's just that's such a zippy dialogue. I love that line. She's a cream in my coffee. Wait, you're gonna have to drink it black now, son. And the patty cake. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that scene. Just patty cake. Just makes me so happy. I don't know. What a weird movie. Like Patty. Yeah, I didn't get that when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I definitely, that just kind of went way over my head. I'm just like, well, is patty cake? Oh, I guess it's a game. And then Roger's upset because I don't know.
And Goofy too. Goofy has quite the backstory in this movie. So there's a paper clipping that says that Goofy is cleared of spy charges, and then Jessica Rabbit
Yeah,
later
so
says,
I think Valiant and Valiant were, so Eddie and Teddy, as they're named. They were involved in like clearing Goofy, most likely, which is why the press clipping was hanging around their office.
Oh, I love it. And then also too, when Jessica Rabbit says like, "You're even better than Goofy," I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
what has happened there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Roger does make an offhand thing. It's like nobody takes a ton of bricks to the head like Goofy, which kind of foreshadows what happens to him at the end.
He gets leveled. Also, too, when Doom gets smashed or rolled by the I can't even think of the name of it, whatever that
It
thing
was
is
a
called right now.
steamroller.
Yeah, the steamroller right now, or steamroller, and then he just gets up flat. That scarred me as a kid too. Like, what?
Yeah,
He's a
like
toon?
the whole thing about Doom, like he and the thing is they considered getting Tim Curry to play him, but apparently Tim Curry was even more scary. And
Oh,
they were just like, okay, no, we can't go that far. Let's just get Christopher Lloyd. And, Christopher Lloyd is creepy enough in the role. But apparently Tim Curry was just terrifying.
that's really smart though, because you can't have an unknown terrifying person. Because I remember watching Ernest Scared Stupid in '91. And I remember that troll destroying my life. I just hunted children day or night, had no pattern, would hid under beds, hid on beds, get you in public, and it scared the daylights out of me. And I guess now imagining watching Tim Curry when I was young, I probably didn't know who he was. Maybe I knew him from like Home Alone 2, but seeing this character who I didn't know, like I knew who Christopher Lloyd was when I
Yeah,
watched
because he's
this.
Doc Brown, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
So like,
I'd seen Back to the Future before I'd seen this, and I was like, oh, that's Doc Brown. It's like, oh, is he the baddie? Oh, I guess,
that's a
you have like a little bit of an affinity towards him. It's like, oh,
that's smart. I didn't even know about Tim Curry because yeah, you can't have someone too scary. This is still a kids movie, so you got to have Lloyd on there. But it's interesting how he based himself after a vulture, and they wanted to have a vulture on his shoulder, but it was just too expensive to animate a vulture on him at all times.
yeah, well, I guess if they had to put it in every single frame he's on screen, it adds up.
Yeah, and I guess uh the the nose was a prosthetic. His teeth were like he spent a lot of time just
But
in
apparently he
makeup.
figured out the plot from the first page of the script.
Oh
Just
yeah,
from the screen direction, it was basically character does not blink, and he's like, "I'm totally a toon, aren't I?" And they were like, "Yes, you're right."
yeah, yeah. He just nailed it. I think he got the character perfectly too, because it's still kind of camp. Like he doesn't play it too seriously, but it's still really scary. I mean, for kids,
No, but he's menacing.
yeah.
He's not. You know, he doesn't go too far, but he's still menacing. In that kind of quiet, kind of. The costume helps. He's basically dressed like a member of the Gestapo, and then he's got those kind of like evil kind of vibes going on. But there is a silliness and there's almost a grace to his. Like one of my favorite scenes is where they're fighting in the warehouse at the end, and Eddie pulls out a magnet, and Judge Doom's kind of he's like holding on to his sword for a bit, and then he just kind of gives in and just kind of does this glide where the sword is kind of pulling him towards Eddie. I'm just like, oh my god, that is just it's just a really interesting way to go. Instead of the sword getting pulled off him or him doing something else, it's just like I'm just gonna glide with my sword.
Oh, that's cool. He's really good in this movie. He is just what a perfect villain. And then you got Hoskins, and you know what I was thinking about too. Growing up, the Amblin movies that like I watched, I think they were kind of a rite of passage for me as a kid. Like Gremlins, Goonies, Back to the Future, or the Spielberg produced movies. This, like these. I don't know. I felt. Did you have that same experience? Like Goonies, you get out, like you go hunt for treasure. You like get
See,
out and you go do
Goonies, I
things.
don't think I ever saw until I was older.
Oh, okay.
But definitely Gremlins, E.T., Back to the Future, this, all of those were kind of, my staple when I was younger and growing up.
I mean, yeah, I just wanted to watch. Like when I watch Goonies, I just want to go get on my bike and ride around and hunt for treasure. I never found it in Florida, but I don't
Sure, there
know.
should be lots of buried treasure in Florida. You just have to, swim away from the gators.
That's true. The Buccaneers. Let's hope a crawl scenario doesn't help hit me while I'm hunting for treasure. I'm
Yeah.
we're not conquistadors. I'm sure there's some Spanish gold.
A few galleons here or there.
All right, you need to come down here and we'll go on a mission. I'm sure our wives will love that. Driving around Florida hunting for gold.
Go in one of those airboat kind of things.
Oh, I've done that. Those are fun. Give you the full Florida experience. Take you to Disney.
Oh yeah.
Take you to the Keys. There we go. But yeah, no, I mean, let's see. What else have we got in this movie? Anything else? Any other cool research that you found? Like, I kind of dig how they borrowed from Walt Disney's animation, the kind of like the Snow White kind of like there's some hyper realism to it. They look believable. But then you also had the Tex Avery, which was kind of larger than life, a lot of pratfalls, a lot of violence, and then Warner Brothers, which was more cartoon-like, and people just got plastered and like not drunk, but they just got smashed, like Roadrunner and all that. And then they took all their influences and combined them into one, which is pretty cool.
And you can definitely see the influences. Like, for example, when Eddie first goes into Toontown, he's like driving in his car, and then you've just got like this kind of almost Disney-fied landscape where everyone's singing and happy, and then all of a sudden he crashes and you're in like this grimy Toontown, which is much, with Acme stuff everywhere, and all of a sudden you're in almost Warner Brothers world.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get kind of a combination of the two where, Mickey Mouse is saying, "Oh yeah, Eddie, are you going to be okay? Do you have a parachute?" And then Bugs is like, "Here you go."
I read they got them for $5,000 each, the Warner Brothers characters, which is nuts.
Crazy. Like, I'd say, I dread to think how much, if you were trying to make this movie today, how much you'd have to pay for the rights for these characters.
I mean, like Led Zeppelin songs cost $1 million. So right now, if you want to put one of them in it, I think it's just smart. The latest Space Jam, they just took Warner Brothers characters. I think it was Warner Brothers. Yeah. They just took characters from everything. Yeah. They just took characters from everything they owned and put them in there, which I think is probably the smartest option as far as budgets go. Because if you're trying to get Disney, that won't happen now.
The thing is, Disney could do that by themselves now. They could just have, we own Marvel, so here's Spider-Man and...
Well, look at Free Guy.
Oh, yeah. Free Guy, that's an awesome movie. I really like that.
Oh, it's so good. What a crowd pleaser, right? But I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but they definitely... I mean, Disney definitely goes into its bench for that movie.
Yeah, Free Guy is great. I think, it's a bit off topic. They could have gone further, I think, with some of the things. I think they could have gone a little bit deeper into the lore and like a little bit deeper, but I just loved how silly it was and just like how there were like little nods. And you got Taika Waititi, who is just always a delight.
Yeah, some Albuquerque boiled turkey. I really like Ryan Reynolds when he's not being just sarcastic the whole time. I like him being super earnest in this movie. This is probably the voices. Those are probably my favorite performances of his, because sometimes he can revert to just super sarcastic Reynolds, but I like it when he tries, because he's very likable in this movie. And then you got Jodie Comer, Joe Keery, Taika Waititi talking about Albuquerque boiled turkey.
Have you heard her doing accents? She's like a chameleon.
Killing
I saw. Yeah, there was like a clip of her on like a British talk show or something, and she slipped into about 6 or 7 different accents, just like bang, 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 bang. It's incredible.
She's a beast. And The Last Duel, I love that movie. I thought she crushed it.
I haven't watched that one yet. It's on my to-do list.
It's really. I just think people didn't like it because it kind of makes you think, and then you have to think about the themes and what you're being presented. And I just don't think people like that. That's my thought, at least. We're going off topic, but still, we're talking about all good movies, just like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So, but yeah, I mean, bringing these things in for $5,000, and I love what you said too. Yeah, Toontown does become a bit of a nightmare. It's not all Disney-fied. It gets like, and then that lady starts chasing him around, and then he falls out of the building. I mean,
And my favorite bit about that is he's falling out the building, and his hat gets left behind, and then he has to like reach up, grab his hat to make sure that he's got his hat on when he's falling. Like, that is just straight out of a cartoon.
Oh, I love it. And then just Hoskins too. He was just on a rig being held horizontal. You know what's interesting for that shot? They built an extra 60 feet of dolly track and just pulled all the way back to get that shot of him, because he was just laying horizontally, and they moved the camera away from him. That's nuts.
If it works, right?
Yeah, but that's what I love. Like, imagine being on this set in a pretty cool role. I just think the amount of creativity that you would experience while working on this.